Hey, good morning, you guys. It is time for your health check. Look, week to week, we've been answering your COVID-19 questions. They are really terrific. So I want to get right to it. We've got Dr. John Carlo this morning, former president of the Dallas County Medical Society, joining me to help answer the questions this morning. Good morning, Dr. Carlo.
Good morning.
First question is 14 days of self-quarantine sufficient after testing positive, or is retesting crucial? This one's from Morgan.
Great question. We're getting a lot of these questions. There's a lot of, examples where some of the times the guidelines from the CDC don't fit exactly, but directly answering the question, yes, 14 days after a high-risk exposure is sufficient to discontinue quarantine in general. There may be some specific situations or circumstances where you might want to do testing, but in general, the 14 days will work. But again, when you do go back into public settings, take those extra precautions.
Okay. Dee writes, I recently joined an infrared fitness studio. Will the heat of the sauna kill the virus?
Honestly, I hadn't heard of the infrared studios, so I had to look it up myself. But I will say that what does kill coronavirus is ultraviolet light, not infrared. And so at this situation, sunlight is good because it contains both, but infrared is not going to specifically affect the virus that I could tell. Again, it's that ultraviolet light. That's what causes sunburns and things like that. So, and in general, I would keep doing the same precautions that you're doing as if you were in a gym and infrared was not in place. So at this point, an unknown, and my advice would be to take extra precautions.
Okay. And our final question, this is from Steve, who says, since we now have the second wave of the virus, do health officials think there will be a third wave in the fall? And I know what you're about to say. This is not a second wave.
Right. It's hard to say we've had a second wave because we never really stopped from what we would say was the very beginning. And so we're not really seeing a peak and valley phenomenon. The whole wave idea was really the influenza pandemics that we've seen. And so coronavirus is not the same virus. At this point, we haven't seen any waves. And so I think this is more of a continued, direction where we're seeing continued trends that just haven't really stopped yet. So at this point, I think we have to worry about these next couple weeks, especially. We'd like to see the case rates go down quickly, and it's very likely that we need to continue watching this. And this next month is going to be critical. For the fall, I don't think we even have any best guess at this point. I'd certainly like to see the numbers go down for the summertime before we really start worrying about the fall. But again, this is a new virus, and I think the wave idea is not necessarily accurate at this point.
Yeah, I think bit by bit, because once you get into fall, you've got cold and flu season and a whole lot more to deal with. So, we'll hopefully be ready for that. Dr. Carlo, thank you so much for your time this morning. We certainly appreciate it. All right.